Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Torchlight. Let's continue. We're halfway through on level 26 and trying to commit to as fast of a run through as possible. Honestly, I probably was moving too slow in the first 25 levels, and so we're gonna try to improve this as quickly as that can happen. We are in the Goblin Temple, I suppose. I think that's what this is called, the Lost Temple. And we're just trying to take out as many people as possible. I got a new spell to summon a skeleton, so we'll see how that works. It summons a skeleton or two. I thought it just summoned one. And then they run and take on those enemies. Okay. They only seem to last. It only has a cooldown of like 3 seconds, so I could, I think, just constantly tap this and summon more skeletons to the party. Of course, the problem with that is then I'm doing a lot of casting. Not that I'm really doing anything with my mana, but I'm just would be hitting all the buttons. Seems like I can have 4 on the screen at once. Alright, and these guys will just follow me. So summon skeletons, I guess, are better by far than what we had with the summon zombies. This area is blocked off and destroyed, but it's not visually being depicted as destroyed enough that I can see that. Alright. Was there anything else we failed to pick up? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess that won't work. Our fame is increased, and we are getting to the point where that's not really going to do anything. We need to wait till level 33 to get this up to its next rank, and putting anything in more pet mastery doesn't really make sense. So do I want to start increasing my damage on ranged weapons, or do offensive spell increases, which I could do that, or I could try for the other thing I was going to try to do is have summon beam golem, summon a golem that blasts foes with a beam of electricity. Honestly, beam golem probably is the right move to go for. I want to wait and get Treasure Hunter up, so I'm not going to use this point right now. Hopefully that doesn't mean we will have to look at the annoying red button for a long amount of time. I have pretty much 100% been focusing on getting better armor and better weapons. It's very much been secondary to think about doing any spells, even though I'm playing as the mage. And yeah, 4% increase on a bow that's doing 300-400 damage would not be an insignificant amount. Let's see, official officer's pistol. Right. So identify this and this and this. I've got a bunch of gems that are a problem. I need to figure out the quickest way to have these items sent back to my chest, and there really isn't a good way to do that. Like, the fact that you have a dog and he can take things back to the stores and sell them is great, but he can't. You can't just do the simple things. The take it back to my chest and store it in the chest, or give me a magical chest that I can do something with. Dervish whirl in action and rapidly accelerate attacks and cast for 10 seconds. Right now I've got him doing Silence 5. A Dervish 4 would be an interesting experiment. Yeah, control and left click to unlearn that and give him Dervish instead as an experiment. And so that's just going to have him attacking and moving further.
Your pet has
of course, I've also got to send him to go sell everything in his inventory because I'm full otherwise. The game has really tried here to give us a collection of places where we feel like we're getting Dwarven Globe and looting a lot of gold. We really aren't, though. Not if you get heavy into enchanting and gambling. There's kind of nothing else to do with the gold other than enchant and gamble for new items. So, your money is still pretty tight. And you still are getting, I would say, at least 80% of all your income from selling items that you loot off of the enemies. Let's see. I'd like to see the dog with his Dervish spell and see how that really works. I wouldn't be surprised if there are actually several spells you can give the dog that just aren't programmed well, and thus he doesn't actually know how to use them ever. Not just he's not at a level of intelligence, or there's some way you could fix it so he could use them. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just no way at all. I wouldn't be surprised actually if there were several little things that are missing and incomplete in this game. Although it's 10 years old, so it may have been patched at any point, and it would be hard to even tell. There, I got a level up, which filled my health. So I don't have to use a health potion. Right now I'm using the wrong health potions. I need to swing it back to the right ones. There you go. Swing back to those health potions. They're way less valuable than the top tier ones. Playing inefficiently is not going to be beneficial to anybody. So we increase that. At the next level we get the maximum. So now it's just, do I want to summon a beam golem, or do I want to increase our offensive spell mastery? I believe there's something under one of these that would increase defensive spell mastery, which I assume would be heal all. I guess the real question here to ask would be 35 strength, okay, and start putting some into magic just in case we need it. So this is a heal all is a defensive spell. Dervish is a offensive spell. This is a charm spell. This is a charm spell. So I'd have to find charm spell mastery, which is here, frankly, to summon better versions of summon skeletons. And the next version would be the increase the damage by 10%, which would probably do more than anything else we've got to offer. Right. So what kind of spell is this? This is a class spell. So a class spell wouldn't need any kind of spell mastery, and kind of negates the need of putting any points into charm spell mastery or defensive spell mastery or anything like that. And then ranged weapon would decrease the range equipment requirements and increase the damage. Ranged weapon is the right way to go with this. We'll get the beam golem when we really start needing it, but clearly per click basis I will benefit from a 4% increase and a decrease in requirements in bows and arrows, which is what I'm using, or maybe some shotguns. Way more than I'll benefit from anything, any of the spells. So that really brings about just this question of, what does it really feel like, or is it really possible even to play as a mage who is mostly casting spells? You would have to, I suspect, have all of your armor and equipment built around increasing your cast speed or decreasing your cast cost in mana. You'd have to constantly be pressing way more buttons to...
My pack is full.
Like, it really would be a nightmare scenario, I think. For as much as I call this a clicker game just because all the left clicking, you would be doing a ton of left clicking and a ton of number key button presses if you were casting spells all the time. And I'm doing a decent amount of that anyways. Meanwhile, we're just picking up garbage. And I've yet to see if this whirling dervish spell actually works for the dog. If I got the spell, like, if I got the spell to summon skeletons again, I would give it back to the dog immediately. That worked so well, even though they were stationary. We've got a gold level character, a unique named character, in that mess somewhere, but there's so many people. I've got skeletons and such that are running around helping me, so I've got so many people on my side, it just turns into a large mess. I think that's a mistake. I don't think you get that happening in Diablo 1 or 2 or 3. I think they quite wisely don't have you summoning anything that distracts visually. Like, I have 2 skeletons right now that are just following me around, and I could easily see myself getting confused by that. Not if I didn't remember that I summoned the skeletons and that they were working for me. You see a lot of this too, a lot of bunching up in corners. That feels almost like a glitch. It doesn't feel like that's the way they really wanted the characters to be. That they're lacking in some basic AI where they would just wander around and move in circles, look like they're making themselves busy at least. Is there a chest over here? If there is, I would never be able to click on it. I'd never be able to find it. Meanwhile, we're just working our way down further and further. It's been the same goal since the very first episode. Get down to the bottom of this dungeon. Whereas Diablo 1, that kind of was the goal, but it wasn't really told to you. There was different acts. It was explained to you. Your first goal was to just like defeat a mad king who was in a completely different dungeon that wasn't really connected. Like there was actual sub-bosses and actual different dungeons. You don't just enter the first cave in Diablo 1 and never leave it. And that's an element that I think worked rather well. Apparently we have a phase portal, which we probably should go through for grinding factors, but I don't know why that happened.
I'm overburdened.
What did he just try to pick up?
My pack is full. My pack is full.
Must have tried to pick up a quest item. Alright, so discover, identify. Alright. So, identify a scroll? No. 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 Nope. 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 No to that. Nope. Here we have a unique mace that would require a lot more strength and require level 24. At this point, I think I probably should start selling unique items also. Yeah, I don't know if I have a justification to not start doing that. I want to clear out this area and see how much further this goes, but I'm gonna have to remind myself that that portal is here, because I don't think that the game just ends here, and that this is the next area to go to. I think it's a supplemental thing that somehow got triggered. I don't think I cast that because I don't even have the items that would cast that. It's a weapons rack, but it's way up there. Alright, let's look over here. Last time we went around an area like this, there was a gold vault. I'm starting to see more cursed swords. Yeah, there's a gold vault in that corner, and that's where we want to go and get the gold. It really sucks when the layout of the map looks exactly like the previous map, or perhaps the floor before it. I would have been happier if it just kind of randomized the floors every time. just switched the enemies and switched everything. Although perhaps if they changed all of the character sets and the graphics, that would require a lot more loading. That could be a factor. Just walking through all these traps. No. And through the gold. Be kind of interesting to see how much gold I really get out of this. It's not the gold, it's really the items that matter. And sure, this may be giving me at most 1,000 gold. Oh, don't tell me 64 gold is just going to be left. That is a lot of gold to leave on the floor, but I'm going to do it. Now let's get up here and see how this all balances out. Yeah, clearly this hallway doesn't just end in a dead end. We've got a named character.
My pack is full. My pack is full.
Let's not do any more fighting. Let's see. Inventory, pet inventory. Yeah, we really only have like the identify scrolls, and that's the wrong spell. So I'm gonna cast a town portal spell, put that here, toss this, because I couldn't care about identify scrolls, they're not worth anything. And then, let's see. Was there anything else that was dropped? Yeah, this just keeps going. Let's go and take out this group here, so we don't have 4 different directions we need to go. Okay, return to town. Okay. Let's go over to this guy.
Well, hello.
What I'd really like is if he had a different kind of fish. Because he has the dogfish, but I already have a dog, so who has the catfish that would turn him into a cat? Let's go ahead and start by selling all of these, because we know that these are of no use. That fills that quota. And sell that, and that, and that. Like almost certainly all of this is unnecessary stuff. probably wouldn't be too bad to start thinking about buying some town scrolls, because we're not picking those up at any rate at all. It's odd that we have 5 and that's it. Okay, here's another team item. Sell that and that. Okay.
Good journey.
Let's come over here and quickly scan these. I wish there was some filter you could do. If there was a way to know for certain this weapon is a special named item that works in a special set, that would be very, very helpful. Unfortunately, the game doesn't do that. There's a lot of quality of life issues that are missing in this. Things that you would hope were fixed in Torchlight 2. Things that very possibly should be increased, be mentioned in any potential Torchlight 3. Alright, well, this is part of a set, so we'll buy the Dragon Slayer helm, although we may already have the Dragon Slayer helm. And then here's some dream waders. So almost better than what we've got, because it increases our dexterity by 8 with a decrease in armor, really. That's about it. So I'm gonna put those on, and then I guess get rid of those boots.
I got things to do.
Alright. Over here. Dragon Slayer helm. We have a Dragon Slayer helm, which requires 17. So the first one levels up your pet mastery skill for 22. This does 26 and doesn't level up your pet mastery skill. So I'm gonna sell that because you only really would need one, and this is still for that fictitious idea of a weapon that, or secondary character would have a better experience because of that. I'm not sure that you really would even have a better experience with it, frankly, and that there's just not enough room. It kind of brings it down to the thought that in your second playthrough you might have close to complete sets for different levels, and it would make the game slightly more interesting and sped up, but only slightly. Over here, Summon Zombies 5 versus Summon Zombies 1. I will take that. And then I will unlearn this with control left click, and then drag that and put it here, and then put that here. Meanwhile, we're at 15,000, so buying more of these gem items are perfectly fine. Not a ring. What's this? Fireball 5. Slow moving fireball. I'm not interested in that. This is a level 40 potion resistance, poison resistance spell. Would any of these potentially have an increase in experience gain? I don't think they ever would. Here you have a slowest attack speed 500 staff. Meanwhile, yeah, let's get rid of that. And get rid of that. And get rid of that. See if we... I guess we haven't gotten the pickup item we needed. We've got so many potions. Let's just drop all of those. And then place this here like that. And that here like that. I guess we're still trying to see if we can enchant this. Right, we have a cracked fire ember, which I think would move us all the way up on this. We may have to jump through a lot of hoops because I just have so much stuff. Cracked flow ember. Yeah, we're so short on space. There you go, let's just put all of these over here. It really is getting rather ridiculous. Cracked cold ember. It seems to be the only... We are resetting on cold ember because the last cold ember thing we had was put in this cracked life ember. We can do something with that. Frankly, a poisoning effect I think is damage over time, so that would be a nice upgrade to put on a weapon. But poison resistance, I'm not sure it really needs to happen. And then cracked pure ember. And it's just going to be everything, isn't it? We're actually playing the game the right way. Cracked core ember. It's a skull. Which means these are the core embers. Yeah, once a line is full from top to bottom, if I have them in the right places, everything should work.
Hi there.
Transmute. So, cracked life ember and cracked life ember would make a discolored ember, which then should merge into a dull ember. So if I put all three of these, it should just come out as a life ember. But it doesn't. It comes out as a dull. So it can only do one transmutation at a time, and we'll just throw everything back to you. 12 poison damage. Not bad. Flow ember is electrical damage. Though. I think we're a little out of order there. We have a dull flow ember, and a cut flow ember, and a discolored flow ember, so I don't think we can go any further with that. We skipped a step.
Fortune smiles on you.
Dull and discolored. Yeah, we're missing one in the middle there also.
Good luck to you.
Right. So, let's see. Cut flow ember, dull flow ember, discolored flow ember, cracked flow ember, dull discolored, and fire ember is higher than that. And so then cracked core ember. Just keep on moving things over. back to this. Okay, cracked core ember. And a cracked core ember becomes dull. Dull and dull becomes discolored. Discolored and discolored becomes core. Cut core is higher. So that's as far as we can go. 10 health recovery per second on a weapon, or plus 5 strength. Interesting.
Fortune is kind to you. Fortune smiles on you.
Keep on transmuting.
Smiles on you. Fortune is kind to you. Fortune smiles on you.
Speed up this process, please.
Fortune is kind to you. Fortune is kind to you. Fortune smiles on you.
I'm running into a point, frankly, where these are actually like not, we're not in a good position to even hold on to the potions. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Like, do I really need 3 piles of these? I vaguely recall that I actually did. As crazy as it sounds, I vaguely recall that I actually was running it low on health at the end of this game. So having stacks, having 100 of the maximum grand health potion, I think I'm gonna play with that strategy and do that. It's crazy, to say the least, but the final few bosses are more difficult than you would assume. So a pure ember, dull ember, cracked ember, discolored ember. So that's as much as we can do. And we'll start transmuting a bunch of this. Now I don't think I probably need anywhere as many mana potions, so we may start selling those. I'm gonna switch that to that.
Good luck to you.
Okay. So, red. We have a discolored fire ember. We have a dull fire ember. We have a red fire ember. We have a cracked flow ember. We have a discolored flow ember. We have a dull flow ember. And we have a cut flow ember. There we go. As far as green, all we have is life ember. So discolored, and then dull, and then cracked. And we'll just move that over here. Meanwhile, this is getting in the way. Cut, cold ember, core ember, and cracked core ember. So the cut core ember is at a higher spot than anything else. I think this is where we are going to start drawing the line, is let's sell a stack of 20 of these potions and only have 40 in total available. And yeah, I think that's where we want to go with this. And Silence 3 I thought we were going to sell too.
Hi there.
So how much would this give me? 1,151. That's not a bad amount of money.
See you later.
What can I do for you?
We're just constantly trying to see if we can enchant this for
Fortune is
experience gain.
Goodbye.
That's what we're trying to get, and we're either going to just keep on enchanting this until it disenchants,
kind. You are unlucky.
or we're going to
Alright. What can I do?
get experience gain.
Fortune smiles on you.
See.
All right.
I mean, it's rather ridiculous to still be holding on to this armor just because of experience gain, but it's really where we are.
Good day.
We are just gonna continuously push our luck. Well, I can't do any more right now
Shoo! Off with you.
because I'm out of money. But that's what we're trying to do. Meanwhile, this guy doesn't have a quest, so we return back to this area. And the loading is kind of long. Yes, and the bodies did despawn, which is interesting.
You have taken the trap.
Oh yeah, seriously, how was I supposed to avoid triggering a trap? So there must have been something to the number of bodies in this area, and I guess that probably my guess is that was too many. Like there probably was several hundred in this section. Like the question, I guess, comes down to how far do we want to go before we determine that this path is just going to keep on going. I think it's going to keep on going. I don't think we are going to conveniently run into a floor down section just right down there. Although maybe we will. And if that is the case, that's good. Let's have this entire floor empty before we go through the portal so that we know we've done the right thing. Just right in front of the throne. This is another example of, yeah, this is a cool little gold room that they designed, and then to justify it being designed, they had to reuse it multiple times in a very short amount of square footage. Well, this might be the next section. This might be it. Yeah, it is. Okay. Great. So we can just empty this entire floor of enemies and then go through the portal, deal with the portal stuff, and then move on. You can see they also just randomly place enemies, or their procedure for placing enemies doesn't make the most sense because there are sometimes on the other side of barriers that I can't reach. So almost certainly for some people's experience, you will run into examples where a portal just pops up in the middle of a level and then you've just got this extra distraction to deal with. I don't think I need to go this way. Nope, I definitely did not. And it would be slightly interesting to see if that gold is still on the floor. Yep. 64 gold, 5 gold. Just sitting there. Of course, I spent 1,500 gold just trying to enchant the things. A lost chamber. See, if this turned into something quick and easy, that would be great. Let's try our new summon zombies spell. My inventory is probably relatively close to being full before I've even done anything. Trying to shoot the explosive barrels. Yeah, if it was just these two rooms, and that's all this was, and then you got a lot of experience or a lot of gold for just killing these 2 rooms.
My pack is full.
That would be nice.
I'm overburdened.
Alright, okay. Ring. Weapon. Shield. And this. So are we gonna be picking up grand potions? Looks like we might be. I've already picked up a cold cracked ember, which means it will be in our inventory for quite a while. And 4 identify scrolls. This would increase gold find. So I just put on the dream waders, and honestly, an increased gold find with 8 more armor I think is better than the resistance. But I'm gonna live with what I've got. Just make a almost intentional bad decision there. Guess I have to hold on to these, because apparently I am picking up things at that level. I didn't think I was. Just items dropped all over the place and in doorways, making it more difficult to see. I assume a mimic can't be knocked back, so that he wouldn't drop all of his items off the edge of something. Right. Yeah, this might be a slightly more controlled area. There's a lot of people here. It's like an experiment. We haven't seen things like this before, though. Like where it's a smaller section. There we go. Getting overrun by zombies, and I can't really tell which ones are on my side and which ones aren't. That's a problem. I think a lot of them are not on my side. The dog's trying to help, but not doing a lot. There's something. There's something. There's something. There's a lever to open the next room. That really was a overwhelming area, and I guess now the idea is to have a section in, I don't know what you would call it, less danger, narrowing them down and shooting them through a narrow hallway. Interesting. So this portal is either going to take me somewhere completely different, and this is an experiment in the idea of having portals in the game, which would have worked fine, or this was a really, really small section just designed to give me a lot of gold and a lot of items. That was weird, certainly. We haven't seen that before. But kind of nice too. Like, it's kind of nice that that didn't turn into another 30-minute side quest. I would be happier to see things like that. I imagine there was some kind of special enemy that dropped the portal when I killed it. And that enemy is probably rather fast and infrequent than just kind of randomly spawns. That's all I could really guess. Level 27 of 50. I guess it is still taking about 30 minutes to 40 minutes to do a level. And it's kind of nothing here. Ooh, a boss fight maybe.
We found it! I believe I can operate the forge. Books in the Overseer's library describe it in detail. I should even be able to remove the corruption without diminishing the strength the Ember has granted you. Take your place on the platform.
So either I'm going to get betrayed, which I don't think the story is that complicated. We're now removing the corruption. Great. We're going to open ourselves up, I guess, to Act 2. Maybe there's nothing else on level 27. Remember, we've only had that one section where we had to have 3 keys to activate a door to go down further. I wouldn't be surprised if we run into another scenario like that where we have to go to 3 more lateral, horizontal areas instead of just going down 3 more vertical areas.
So, have you come to join us? I knew you would hear Ordrak's call eventually.
Oh, that was her name was Syl. And then there's this new character on the side. Is that supposed to be the guy? This can't be the guy that we saw at the beginning because we defeated that guy. So this is just some character out of nowhere. Some demon, I guess.
Master Ulrich, you would never serve such a destructive power. It's the corrupted Ember affecting your mind. If Ordrak is the source of this plague, then it is our duty to destroy him.
I taught you about duty, Syl, but it is time for a new lesson. With Ordrak's power, we can reshape the world. Come and meet your new master.
Are they gonna kidnap her? And that's our reason for going further? Okay. So were we corrupted of the... What does it say right now on the quest? As far as storyline wise. Alec has captured Syl, descend further and rescue her. And so, yeah, I think that's that. Yeah. So an entire floor for that cutscene. Well, that saves us some time, certainly. Like, we really didn't need to go through one more floor. And I guess there's a chance that the next floor won't be the same kind of layout. I guess I'm wrong about that. So we're still doing the Lost Fortress style of enemies and layout. I guess the question to ask here is, could I summon zombies and then run around and try and get more enemies to fight at one time. Just leave the dogs and the zombies dealing with this group over here. I think there's a little bit of yes to that, but a lot of bit of no to that idea. If I'm not micromanaging everything, it falls apart pretty quickly and easily. This wall's all barriered off. Also, you run into the problem of if I walk away from an area, the item drops potentially aren't seen by me, so then there's a major increase in item drops I'm missing. So that's another concern. This is the same section we've seen before. It really does feel like they only have 4 or 5 styles of hallways, not highways, I guess you could call them highways too, that they use, and then 4 or 5 styles of larger sections that they use. Interesting. I cannot get that gold. So a hand-curated level, if all 4 or 5 of the levels in the Lost Temple had just been hand-curated, it would look better. Okay, so last level on treasure hunting. We now have a 25% increase in gold find and a 25% increase in magic find. Our next move is to get our ranged weapons up so that every time I'm clicking, I'm doing more damage. We're at 35% strength. I don't think we really have much of a strength problem anymore. I'm going to instead go to 35% magic and 1% or 2% on that. Why do I have more points all of a sudden? Well, I guess we could go 1 more point dexterity, or we could go 1 more point defense. I probably should start putting a little bit more in defense, because yeah, when I am getting hit hard, I still am dying, and that's proving to be still a bit of a problem. On the skills though, pet mastery does not increase the amount of money you get when you send your pet to sell something, which that would be the thing I would want it to do, is to say, hey, the pet is so charismatic that even with the assumed inability to talk, we haven't seen the dog talk, he still gets a much better deal than, or as good of a deal as what I would get with my barter skill.
Your pet has departed.
Okay. Right now I have the Berserker Cord for 24. This is no good. This is no good. This is no good. That's never good. That's no good. It's no good. We are picking up these potions, so we are running into that issue. Now, and we have this. Okay. Well, the dog is coming back. He is maybe taking a little bit longer to come back from the store, but not any reasonable. Like, it's not an unreasonable amount of time. If he takes twice as long as he just did to come back from the store from level 50, which is the lowest possible level, you're fine. They clearly didn't want to make it an issue, and yet made it an issue by putting it in the game in the first place. When it would have made as much sense just to have the dog leave and come back instantaneously, or just allow you to disenchant things and break them down into gold automatically through a magic spell. Like, Diablo doesn't have a magic spell like that either, so they clearly want to force you to go back to the store, to the main hub world, a lot in Diablo and this game, and there's not anything really at the main hub world to justify that. The thing I'd really like to see is if I could get my bow to ricochet its shots and hit more enemies, or have an explosive area of effect. I guess that's what a shotgun would do instead. So if I could switch from a 500 bow to a shotgun, that would be nice.
Has been sprung.
But we're not at that point. We haven't found a shotgun that would do that. That would do also the amount of damage. I might be getting blinded by the fact that the bow I have right now does 500 damage over other issues. We're still running into some enemies that, even though they're taking like 400 damage, they're still not dying in one shot. Right. Inventory time again. There we go. I'm uncertain which way is the dead end. One has to assume that going in opposite directions does not wrap around.
Quest complete.
That was the named character that we were supposed to kill. Yeah, clearly that hallway goes further. Just leave that gold on the floor. Or not. Let's be obsessive and collect it. So if that's the right way, then this has got to be the wrong way. I would like to be able to two-click the enemies that are larger. That's my next goal, is to always be overpowered. You do really seem to be able to stay on the power curve here very easily. At no point have I run into a scenario where, oh, I was really powerful and then I slacked off a bit and didn't get better equipment, or didn't find any better equipment even if I wasn't slacking off, and that then put me back to being underpowered, and now I have to struggle again. Seems to me like once you've got that level of being overpowered, you're overpowered for the rest of the game. I bet this area spins around and connects. Is it really worth it to shoot all these barrels? I don't know what the real benefit is of having familiarity of a level layout, though. It feels like we've kind of taken on this role of a speedrunner where by the time you're on the second or third floor of any series of floors that have the same layout, you already know all the secrets and where things are going, and you can't get lost because you're familiar with it, versus you can't get lost because it's just naturally obvious which directions you should go, or where you can go at the very least. In Diablo, their layouts were pretty square, but there was always enemies in an area, so if you were in a specific area where there were no enemies, that's because you already cleaned that section out and killed everybody. And that's somewhat true in this case, but we have seen a few instances where they do decide to leave you kind of empty, or leave areas kind of empty. Arguably, maybe this game does leave you kind of empty because you're just like not doing anything other than repeating the same actions over and over again.
My inventory is full.
If we can speed up the process here and get to level 30, which we're at level 28 right now, maybe then between level 30 and 40 isn't as long as level 1 to level 10 was. It is really a hope more than a guaranteed situation, but that is my hope, is that maybe, just maybe, we'll start burning through levels a little bit quicker, and we don't have actually another 10 hours of gameplay. But almost certainly I'm going to be stymied by that hope, because I'm going to find out that I go back to the when I go back to the town, I'll have a side mission. Let's see. To go through another portal section, almost certainly. Alright, let's do this. Alright. Town portal. Let's come over here. He's still not selling any improved potions, which we went through. If there ever was going to be a point that things should trigger in the stores and shops should increase their item levels, it would have been this point now, but he didn't do that. So this and this. Hopefully not making a mistake. We are getting enough town portals though, so we don't have to worry about that.
Take care now.
It's just the same actions every time, is look for any items. The odds that I'd have a bow and arrow that would do more damage than what I have and have all the effects that I have are extremely low. He does seem like he rather consistently has items that are part of a set. So here we have Epic Gorgon gloves, which are not as good as what I have, but I'll buy them anyways. And then let's see if there's anything else that's part of a set. No.
Take care now.
So do we have any other Gorgon items? Yes. So here you have epic Gorgon gloves. They could be worn with the Gorgon rig, but it is so out of level that it requires level 27, where this requires level 1 and this requires level 1. So the whole epic sets here don't really make sense unless you were trying to get the one achievement. I think that would be to wear these same items. And having 2 pieces would be faster movement and faster attack. But this does not work at all, so I just bought that item for really no reason. And 5 pieces of a set, I believe, is what the achievement is. Or maybe, yeah. The Dragon Slayer is the only set I've even seen that has 5 pieces. Well, Simratron's Control has 7 pieces. And how many pieces can you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you ignore then 7 would be the maximum. Yeah, weapons, if there's no... So it does seem like there's really only one set that... Alright. So let's start thinking about what we want to sell as far as epic armors. We have a level 6 here. We have a level 8 unique item. Level 19, level 14, level 16, level 36, level 7 but requires a lot of strength, level 24, level 32. Yeah, I'm running out of space. Running out of space for this to continue to make sense. I'm gonna have to start making some hard choices and take a new quest on level 30. You can take that guy out.
Hi there.
And we can just go ahead and sell that. Still trying to keep an eye out to see if there is ever a magic wand. Right. Cracked eyeball. Cracked pure ember. Dull fire ember. Cracked core ember. Clearly somebody else is doing all the mining of this ember instead of me, because I'm barely finding any. And none of these rings are really doing anything. Increased gold find versus increased magic find of 2%. And it would require level 35, which I don't think we're close enough for that to make sense. Right. Dull fire ember, I think, would merge together, so we can move fire ember up another point. Cracked core ember and cracked core ember, I think, work. Deep ember, we have cracked deep ember and cracked deep ember, which I think would just make discolored. Pure ember, yeah, I think we've got to take all of that on the pure ember side. I think it probably is time to just transfer everything into these this quality. Let's see, cracked eyeball. Cracked eyeball should... Gonna have to put it over here. Just take this with us while we're at it, because it's probably gonna play a role. How many times have I been to the store in this recording alone? I could do cracked core ember and cracked core ember. I might as well. Feels like I've done a lot of menu hero, and it kind of sucks. Star life ember is plus 22 poison damage, so it would be interesting to see if there's anything above star, but it probably would be a while until I could actually do anything with that. And as far as sockets are concerned, I think all of the sockets are filled, except for this one. So I could put something in it, but then I'd have to destroy it, which might be the case for several of the other items that I have. They might be rare set items that I'm gonna have to leave the gems in. Still haven't found his item that he was looking for. Where was this quest? Let's see. Find the place of adamant ember in the dwarven ruins. I may have missed that. Like, So we might be stuck on a quest here that will never get finished.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, if we get out of the Lost Temple area and we haven't done that quest, then we're gonna have to reevaluate. Let's see, dull pure ember, and that, and
Fortune is kind to you.
dull core ember.
Fortune smiles on you.
Wish there was a way to speed this whole system up, though. Fire ember and discolored ember. Dull pure ember and cracked pure ember. Cracked pure ember. There we go. Cracked turns into discolored. Discolored turns in. Well, apparently not. It turns it into dull. There's really no logical sense around how these things are labeled. Pure ember and pure ember becomes cut pure ember. 23 damage or 16 armor, which 16 armor would not be bad. If I was to put 16 armor on this right now, that would be a decent excuse to stick with that piece of equipment.
Fortune smiles on you.
Alright. Now we have to come over to the dog and bring over all the eyeballs. Clearly this system has too many items. That there's a better way this could have worked instead of just having 5 gems. I don't recall how many different types of gems there are in Diablo 1. Honestly, I'm not even sure there are gems in Diablo 1. I might be confusing it with Diablo 2. So, yeah, it might not even work the way I think it does. But I don't recall there being this many different kinds. And there's no way to transmute or transfer transfer things from one type of gem into another type of gem, which would be the thing I would want it to do is just to give up on having such variety. Right, so we're back to using the regular largest health potions.
Take care now.
And we're back to pushing our luck. 16% disenchant chance, and we only have one.
Fortune frowns on you.
Shoo! Off with you.
At a certain point, pushing your luck on the disenchant should evolve into to just, okay, you've pressed your luck so well, we're going to give you everything you ever wanted. That would be a nice way to turn the game into a better experience. Well, I screwed that up. We have a discolored and a discolored. Then we have a dull. Then cut pure ember here. And then we have 2 dull deep embers that could be converted up, so things are not going well. Let's see, so that should probably be there, just so I know. And then this probably should be here, so I know that these are on the same levels. This cracked skull should be way down here, and this discolored skull should be way down there. If I'm trying to keep any kind of system here at all that makes sense. And Star Life Ember should probably just be way up there. Yeah, they really don't give you enough space. And this guy doesn't have anything new for us to deal with or do. So let's run back into the dungeon. Oh man, we're 21 minutes over. Yeah, another trip to the store just adds 20 more minutes. Let's come over here just a little bit so we don't get attacked and get dragged into a fight. Yeah, we're working our way up to level 100. Do I think I really am going to get to level 100? Not really. Because it seems like we're getting closer to level 50 than before that would happen. Once I get the ranged weapons expertise up to the top 10 rank, then it's got to be Summon Beam Golem. I can't imagine doing anything else besides that. Eventually I'll think about defensive skills increases so that the dog can use his heal all better, and offensive spells increases, but I probably would do 10 ranks of defensive skills before I would do anything with offensive skills. Journal, we're at 14 hours in the game, and the hardest part, and we may have missed a quest here. The hardest part of this game, oddly, is just what I often call the butt and seat economics of playing a video game, which is literally just sitting in a chair. Like, my chair is not that comfortable. 3-4 hours of sitting in a chair and playing, particularly when you're just playing something that's so clicky and repetitive as this, it's physically exhausting and hard. And so that's kind of what I'm running into now. The grinding is your standard video game grinding. The transmuting is your standard video game grinding. There's way too much grinding in this and way too little story in this, but it is a Diablo-esque game, and it is very similar to what Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 were. Although I would say probably there's way better writing in Diablo 1 than Diablo 2. See, it's weird that Torchlight has sold itself as a spiritual successor of Diablo, and that it, I believe, had some of the people who worked on Diablo work on it, and then they've really in a lot of places forgotten the things that were successful and liked in Diablo, and instead went for something that was a lot more cutesy, kid-friendly, simple down, repetitive, boring. Sure, Diablo is edgy. It's demonic in its theme and story. That's no duh. And maybe there was a way to make a more family-friendly style Diablo game, but I don't think they succeeded here because they left all the good bits on the cutting room floor. And if they really did make any kind of incremental improvements on the level design or the amount of characters that could be on screen, which I don't believe they did. I think I've seen way more characters in Diablo 2 than I've seen in any area in this game. But if they made any kind of technical improvements 10 years later, now that I'm evaluating it, I can't see it. It's really, really hard to tell the difference between a game that came out in 1990 and a game that came out in 1999 as far as PC gaming is concerned these days. They all look old. They all look super simplified. Even if you were to come out in 2019 with Torchlight and it was way better graphically and had way more characters and way better level design or random level generation, it still probably would feel like a pretty old game. And that's probably a good reason why we don't see too many games like this. It's a game from the past and from an old way of making video games. Anyways, we've already gone long, so that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.